sort of figure, hollow. So I've got some 38mm Asian sort of jade white tubing, a couple of pieces of Boro 7mm tube or rod just for pulling points, piece of North Star Jet Black and Reamer, and then just tungsten blade just for cutting the points off. So it's going to be dead easy, don't worry about it. So we're working with the Nortel mid-range for this one. I've got two 5 litres running. I apologise now for the sound in the background, but I've got a couple of kilns running as well, so they will hear clicking and things like that. So get the torch lit, we're going to have to pull a point. There we go. And like I said, this is 38mm. It's a reasonable wall thickness, but a medium wall thickness, so it's going to take a couple of minutes to get the heat in the tubing. And we need to pull a nice straight point, and then we'll go from there. So this is why I've got the sort of capillary 7mm, 6mm capillary. Just use that as oddments, just pulling points. So as you can see, it's quite handy actually with the tubing of this size. If you've got a rod roller or a tube roller at the end, if you can pick that up, it will be on the end of the video. It just takes the weight off your wrists. And as the glass starts to soften a little bit, just pick up the end of the tube and just get it centered, and then work along the tube a little bit more. And like I say, we're going to pull a nice straight point, 8 to 10 inches long. Nice and sturdy, so that we've got the weight there for blowing this ghosty and ghoulie out. So getting it nice and hot in the flame, lift it out the flame, start to stretch, turning all the time. Now you can reduce this down. I'm using 38mm tubing. Obviously, if you're not comfortable with this size tubing, reduce it down. Use some 18, use some 12. Whatever you can get hold of. You can also do it from clear tubing, maybe paint or add colour to it. Look at that. And you just score the points so you get to an open end. And then we're going to give this a couple of seconds just to take the heat out of the point. And while we're waiting for that to cool down a little bit, I'll just clean up the ends of these rods that I'm going to be working with. So these are great presents for Halloween presents, great to decorate your tree if you want to have a little bit of a different Christmas tree. I'll be sending them off to my nephews up in Scotland as a little Halloween present for them. So like I say, just clean up the ends of this rod. And what would also be quite good to see is to use it with a clear tubing and then roll it through some of the glow-in-the-dark dust that we've got, which is like an enamel. And then obviously get a glow-in-the-dark ghoulie. So now the point's cool enough to hold, just work your way along around about sort of 3.5 to 4 inches. In this case, I'm going to heat up enough glass to pull a second point, and that will be the point for my next job. You can, if you want, just pull it off and get a round end on, but what we're aiming to do is to get a nice round domed end on the point that I'm holding, on the point that I've got in my right hand. So again, just take your time, there's no rush, a couple of minutes just to get the heat in there. And then lift it out the flame and just gently start to stretch it out. Keep turning it, keep it straight, and this is just prep work for the next one that you're going to do. you're making more than one. And again, now just take this point off. You would cut this end with a tungsten blade again. Put this down safely. And what we need to do now is just to round off this end so you get a nice clear glass dome. And if you want to thicken, it doesn't have to be perfect, if you want to thicken it up a little bit, that's fine. So we're going to put a piece of 7mm rod on the end just to get that'll form the loop. So round this end off. And then just working your way down the tube a little bit, go down about 1.5 to 2 inches. And I'm just going to blow it out slightly to give it a bit more definition. I don't want it to look like tubing. If we can get a little bit of shape there, just a slight bulb on it, it just looks a little bit more natural. If your ghosts and ghoulies look natural. So just warming it through again. Let it start to work down on itself, let the gravity do the work for you. And just a gentle little puff. So as you can see, we've just took the straightness off the tubing. Now I'm going to put 7mm rod on. It's a nice clean connection. This will be the loop in the end, what will keep the ghost if you want to hang it. As straight as you can. And now reducing the propane on the torch to get a more direct cutting flame. We're just going to take this point away here on the left hand and just let it open up so that we have an open end. It becomes a hollow vessel then. So by doing that, all we're doing is heating the shoulder of the point. And as it starts to get nice and hot, just start to pull away a little bit. And then use the point to fold over and pull more of the glass away. Because you've formed a vacuum, this is going to blow out anyway. And eventually you'll get a hole, which is exactly what you want. Keep it in the flame. There we go, there's the hole. And then just increase the propane a little bit, and we'll start to naturally flare it out. I've used the Reamer tool at this point as well. And then just, again, give it a little bit more propane, and start to heat up about 1 inch. And then we can flare this out a little bit more. You're not going for a complete wine glass finish, you're not going for a total flare, but just give it a little, sort of like a curved bell effect. Just resting it on the Reamer. And then just turn this down again. And then going in, just melting up one side of the ornament. We're just going to get it nice and hot and then pull it out with the Reamer. And then go to the opposite side. Hold this a little bit differently. And again, out the flame, but just lift that out with the Reamer. And then tiny little ones just down what will be the back and the front, just a little frill. And now we need to put a face on. And so this is where the jet black comes in. So we're going to do 2 dots for eyes. So as big and as goofy as you like, or as small. Second one. Doesn't really matter if they don't match, do they? Because, well, I've never seen a ghost, never seen a ghoulie. So if they're not matching, doesn't really matter. And then we need to do, for this one, I'll do like a screen. So it's going to be a little dot, and then just drag it down. And make sure you melt these in. And then we can take these with the hot fingers. So just to finish it off, so you can actually see it being finished, grip it with the hot fingers, tighten them up, and again down to a nice tight flame, and then back to the 7mm rod at the top. And obviously any bail that you want to do is totally up to yourself, whether you want to do a single rod bent over, or you want to join it up and connect it to make extra strength. Let's see. I think I'll make this a nice strong bail. Actually, I'm not wrong. It's just got too thick, so we'll just start again. I'll make this a little bit bigger this time. And again, heat the rod, get a nice connection. And use the Reamer. You start to shrink the loop down. Just ream it around just to keep it nice and perfectly round. And then we can take this off. The hot fingers. There you go. So happy Halloween everyone, enjoy yourselves, and let's see what you can make.